Yo ho everybody, and welcome to another edition of Yinzer on Hockey. Before we begin, make sure you go down below, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, click the little bell so you get notifications on all the off-season happenings. Here I cover all 31 NHL teams, so if you're a hockey fan like I am, make sure to follow. So today we are going to be evaluating some of the breaking news from this morning. Darren Dreger of TSN is reporting that the Arizona Coyotes and Oliver Ekman-Larsson have agreed to an 8-year contract extension that will begin next season, worth reportedly $8 million per year on the annual average value statistics. So take a look at how Oliver Ekman-Larsson compares to the top-tier defensemen, because this is obviously a top-tier style contract. You don't generally pay mid-tier defensemen $8 million a year. So take a look at a couple of these players, and let's go ahead and just compare him to the Norris Trophy finalists from this year. So Norris Trophy finalists are Victor Hedman, PK Subban, and Drew Doughty. So career statistics for Oliver Ekman-Larsson. In 576 games played, he has 102 goals, 188 assists for a total of 290 points. He is a minus 73. I won't put a lot of stock in that because Arizona's been a bad team pretty much the entirety of his career. So that's where he is statistically in his career. Victor Hedman, for his career, 626 games played, 82 goals, 282 assists, for a total of 364 points and a plus 65. So not as productive on the goal side of things, but much more production with moving the puck, and his power play production obviously has been much higher than Ekman-Larsson's. PK Subban, career stats, 582 games, 89 goals, 288 assists for 377 points. Again, Ekman-Larsson has more of a knack for finding the back of the net than these other guys, but just not as good at moving the puck around like these other defensemen. Drew Doughty, a little bit longer career, 770 games played, 102 goals, same amount as Ekman-Larsson, and 320 assists, 422 points, a plus 93. So obviously Doughty is kind of a benchmark of where most defensemen like to be at this stage of their careers. He's about 10 years in, so he's had a very productive career over 10 years, and that's kind of the benchmark. So now let's take a look at the contracts for each of these players. Now Ekman-Larsson, again, like I said, 8 years, $8 million per year, according to Darren Dreger of TSN. So the Hedman contract, current numbers for him, he is about 5 more years left at $7.875 million, so a little bit less than Ekman-Larsson. But you can kind of understand that because Arizona doesn't have the marquee players like Tampa does, so they have to kind of diversify how they spend their money on guys like Steven Stamkos and Nikita Kucherov, the Callahans, Braden Points, other guys like that, all going to get their just due. So in that scenario, looking at just numbers versus money spent, it's kind of even Steven in that regard. PK Subban, currently he has 4 years remaining at $9 million per year. He is currently the highest paid player on Nashville's roster, and in a way, for the energy he brings both on and off the ice, I guess there's some merit to it. But this, to me, I don't think $9 million a year for a PK Subban is what you want to be spending on your defensive core, especially with the cap at only $75 million, reportedly to go up to $80 million. Maybe you can kind of spread that money around, especially with how talented Nashville is and the players on their roster. You can move a little bit more of that money around. So in a way, I would like to see somebody like Subban closer to that $8 million or $7.5, $8 million mark, rather than a guy like Ekman-Larsson. I think, to me, Ekman-Larsson is a $6.5, $7 million a year guy. Drew Doughty, currently, he has 1 year remaining. I'm sure him and the Los Angeles Kings will be discussing a contract extension this offseason as well. He is at $7 million a year. He's probably going to get bumped up. He's going to be in that $8 to $8.5 million range as well. So that's kind of a look at how Ekman-Larsson stacks up both statistically and financially for these teams. My personal take on the contract, it's a little bit too rich, and I really like Oliver Ekman-Larsson. If you go back and watch my favorite Pacific Division players for each team, I'll link that in the cards above. I spoke at length of what I think of Oliver Ekman-Larsson. I think he's going to be the captain for the Arizona Coyotes. That's probably going to be talked about after this extension is finalized. He's probably going to be wearing the C. And they're building a really good young group of players in Arizona. So with Clayton Keller coming in, Max Domi, Derek Stepan, all these guys, they're building a very balanced young franchise, and I think they're going to be a competitive team coming forward. It's just a matter of making sure that you balance out these contracts in such a way that you're able to afford to pay these young guys when they come due, because you have Max Domi as a restricted free agent. He is probably going to be looking at about $3.5, $4 million a year coming off of his past season's production. So look for him to be in that ballpark. Clayton Keller still on his rookie contract, eligible to sign an extension next offseason, so he's definitely going to be due a raise as well. He is one of the finalists for the Calder Cup trophy, so you got to just find that right balance with your team to make sure that you're spending the money in the right places. I think Oliver Ekman-Larsson is a key piece that you want to keep in place, but maybe $8 million a year is a little too expensive. I would have liked to seen that more in the $6.5 to $7. Even going as high as $7.5 million would have been a justifiable spending, but maybe $8 million is a little bit too steep. But let me know what you guys think. Is this a good contract for Arizona? Is it a good signing in general for the Arizona Coyotes for Oliver Ekman-Larsson? And what do you think this does for the rest of the defenseman market moving forward? What does a guy like John Carlson ask for now that he's a free agent, and things like that? Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Follow me on all the social medias listed in the description below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.